Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How are you all doing? Welcome to the start of a brand new campaign series here today on the channel. We're back on Total War Warhammer 2. We're going to be starting a campaign on the brand new The Hunter and the Beast DLC. Got to say a huge thank you to the Creative Assembly for reaching out to me and sending me an early access copy of the DLC and making this Let's Play possible. So a huge thank you to them and their community team. The DLC will be available to the general public on the 11th of September. So here today we're going to be playing as Markus Wulfhart of the Empire in Lustria. We're going to be playing as the Hunts Marshals Expedition. So if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on, to stay tuned for future episodes. Depending on how well this is received within my own community, I definitely could see myself doing a Nakai the Wanderer Let's Play as the Lizardmen of the Spirit of the Jungle. They are a horde faction. But for now, we're going to be playing as Wulfhart. So on the campaign map, we just start in the north of the Scorpion Coast. Here are our race attributes. Emperor's Mandate. Received the Emperor's acclaim by advancing the Emperor's cause in Lustria, leading to the provision of better quality units to reinforce the expedition. Wulfhart's Hunters. Attain the services of some of the finest hunters to have ever lived. Well-rounded unit roster with a wide range of magical laws and war machines for the faction. So our initial challenge is hard. Here are our faction effects and the unit icon. We have a limited roster. Only basic units are immediately recruitable. We will heavily rely on Karl Franz's reinforcements, as it says here. Hostile actions will result in retaliation from local factions. We also get a recruit rank of +3 for Huntsman Generals. These are the new generals available in the DLC. We have a -40 relations with Lizardman factions. And here are the Lord effects: 50% ambush success, minus upkeep for archers and huntsmen. Looking at our additional starting units, we start off with one unit of the brand new war wagons. We've also got some huntsmen here as well, as in this DLC the Empire has an archer variant unit, which is fantastic, and we've just got some basic archers here as well. On the campaign map, Wulfhart starts very similar to Elithanar as a marksman. That's really the only sort of comparable thing I can sort of say about him for now. Now, before we get stuck into the campaign map, I just wanted to dive into the custom battle rosters for the factions, as I have noticed over on the Reddit that a lot of you guys like to pause and have a look at the base unit stats, so you guys can sort of customize, premeditate, and get your campaign builds ready to go. So you're most welcome to pause now and have a read and post and discuss freely the unit stats. So here are the stats for the Hunts Marshal. Moving along now to the Spirits of the Jungle. This is Nakai the Wanderer's faction, of course. I'll try to slow things down where I can, but I'm excited to be back on Total War Warhammer 2. It's been a while. The Empire and the human races are, in my opinion, the more sort of enjoyable. Who doesn't like conquering Lustria with steel and gunpowder? So we're going to have a lot of fun in this Let's Play series. Moving to the monsters and beasts for the Lizardmen. I can't wait to see the dreaded Sauron warriors. They are the largest entity unit in Total War Warhammer so far. They're actually bigger than the mammoths, so I can't wait to see them in our campaign. So without further ado, we'll play the intro and I'll see you guys on the campaign map.
The jungle continent of Lustria lies west across the great ocean. The first men to land upon these shores ransacked an ancient temple, filling their ships with golden treasures. Word spread of their wealth, and others were eager to follow. Fueled by greed, men of the Empire ventured deeper into the jungle's heart. The land of beasts, ravaged and plundered for its riches. It will not be without consequence. The jungle stirs. A cold-blooded fury rising to punish the invaders. In the temple cities of Lustria, the lizard men enact a ritual to call upon their mighty guardian. For the Wanderer roams Lustria once more. The spirit of the jungle made manifest. A reckoning has come. Only the strongest will survive the coming bloodshed.
Now here is a little paragraph as we load in. Markus Wulfhart has dutifully answered the Emperor's call. The Empire's Lustrian settlements have recently fallen victim to a series of savage raids from an elusive attacker. The men of these colonies have long known about the strange, upright walking reptiles that dominate the continent. The monstrous spirit they claim is now tormenting them, threatens to bring about the end to Imperial expansion in the New World. Fortunately, the Hunts Marshals, specialized in tracking the untrackable, the hunt is on.
Having voyaged across the great ocean on the Emperor's command, I shall tame this jungle-infested continent and plunder it for the treasures it holds. The near unimaginable wealth of these lands is dispatched home through the coastal colonies. But recent raids by the lizard beasts have set the Empire back, and I expect further attacks. Other enemies loom nearby. Savage orcs, no less, who raid nearby abandoned cities. These ancient places are sure to harbor more riches, so are prime locations for colonization. But we must be aware that the lizard beasts dominate these jungles. For our colonies to survive their threat, reinforcements will be needed from home. The time of opportunity is now. Lustria and its dangers await. Anything that stands before me in the hope of defeating the Empire will meet its end by my bow. It is the Emperor's will.
Okay, so we start off with one settlement here on the Scorpion Coast. We have the region of the Temple of Telacan. We currently have 7 units at our disposal with Wulfhart, 1 unit of spears, 2 units of swordsmen, 1 unit of huntsman archers, 1 unit of standard archers, and then we have our war wagons here, of course. So, first on the initiative is to wipe out this starting tutorial battle. Then we need to try and unify the entirety of the Scorpion Coast for the Empire. We'll go through some of the new features as to what this campaign has to offer before we go into our building, construction, diplomacy, and talking about the army builds that I want. But here is Wulfhart on the campaign map if you're curious. Now let's talk about some of the new features and systems in this DLC. So first up, we have the acclaimed system. So as we unlock hunters, take settlements, and build and upgrade ports, our acclaim will go up. So we're able to get more reinforcements from Karl Franz, we get recruitment ranked, and we do get minor debuffs as well. We want to try and get to Champions of the Empire eventually. As we expand and conquer, our hostility Imperial supplies will be affected as well, and this is the level of hostility you get all the way up to 5. You start off small at level 1, Imperial supplies are dispatched at a low frequency, and you get a minus debuff to all public order. Going all the way to level 5, the enemy gets a weapon strength of 25 plus enemy leadership and public order provinces, and we're able to request immediate supplies and soldiers from the Empire. So this is how that works. Moving down here to Wulfhart's Hunters, we gain access to special agents, and there's even some chapters here as well. So it's quite cool. You can get access to dwarven agents. even some Wood Elf, and some Bretonnian as well, as you complete specific objectives around the New World and Lustria. So we want to try and go for them, but they're not essential to our campaign. Okay, let's dive and have a look at our diplomacy. So we start off here in Lustria. We are at war with one Lizardman tribe and Nakai the Wanderer's faction there, further in the south. We start at strength ranked 52, while the closest to us is the Dark Elves to the north here. So looking at our general vicinity, we want to try and take the entirety of Lustria where we can. Further to the west, we've got the likes of the Vampire Coast, and Nakai further to the south. There is a large Orcish tribe to the west that we could definitely go and pick apart. We have some allied colonial empire forces to the north. We might be able to get some trade with them. Norscan forces are further to the north near the Sea of Serpents, and we've got Diafin of the Vampire Coast further to the north. But here is the map for, of course, the Mortal Empires faction. Then we got like Skaven and stuff further to the south that we can deal with. So looking at our attitude, sorting by good relations, the New World colonies, we'll try and negotiate with them and try and get some trade rights off the bat. They're going to accept that. It's going to be... we're going to have a very limited number of friends in this new world, so we want to try and get on the right foot, good relations, non-aggression pacts with maybe some vampires for now, as we're going to be dealing with a lot of orcs, and in the immediate future, Lizardmen. We need to get rid of those scaly boys. We've also got Haxolotl here as well with Mazamundi to the north that we need to watch out. Hopefully he gets taken out early on. I don't know how the relations between myself and the High Elves is, so if we can rely on High Elf trade, that could be a decent strategy. So immediately some of the Lizardmen and Nakai don't want any negotiations with us. So, like I said, what we want to do, try and take the entirety of the Scorpion Coast. Probably continuing to pushing south to the Creeping Jungle is our best bet to finish off the factions we're already at war with. And we need to keep an eye on the swamps here and the Vampire Coast. Objectives-wise for this series, let's have a look at them. So, to complete the campaign victory, we need to hit 100 acclaim, and we also need to destroy the spirits of the jungle and win the following battle. And domination victory, it's just like the Clan Moors, the Last Defenders, and whatnot. So we want to try and hit our campaign objective for this series. Tech-wise, we can have a look at this. So it's broken down into infantry, cavalry, war machines, missile, colonial library, colonial factors, hunting advances, and diplomatic mission. So there are a fair few already that we can go down, but since our recruitment pool isn't massive, we're going to have to be smart about this. Going down into colonial factors, we get a +10 growth and +2 public order from tithe rebates, as eventually we're going to have to keep an eye on our -5 public order once we hit level 5 condemned and enemy weapon strength of 25. It might even be a good idea maybe focusing on weapon strength for a lot of my units, as it's a little bit deceiving that it doesn't tell you earlier on that it stacks and adds up. So public order, weapon strength, and leadership is something we have to counter, as it's a buff the enemy eventually get. Getting public order early on for any Total War campaign is basically your bread and butter, especially early on. It's usually a safe bet without micromanaging. You can micromanage certain stuff, of course. Okay, I think I might want to have a look at Wulfhart himself, going to his skills. So we want to try and get the Amber Bow as soon as we hit rank 8. This was his unique quest item that was given to him by Karl Franz. He's got a pretty interesting story. Back in the Empire, his entire village was taken out by a giant, and he wants to get revenge on monstrous creatures. He loves the thrill of the hunt. The only comparable character he's sort of close to in Total War Warhammer 2 functionally on the battle map is Elithanar. He's a archer, of course, that gives some really nice buffs around his units. Focus shot is quite good eventually, but here are some of the wards and stuff we can get early on, which we can go to once we get stuck into a couple of battles. Okay, let's have a look at the immediate recruitable units that we can gain access to. So we can recruit swordsmen, spearmen, free company militia, these are your handlock units, and archers from the get-go. We're going to be using archers a lot very early on. They're quite formidable in Warhammer 2, having the ability, especially in aggressive sieges, to arc your shot nice high up over the walls compared to crossbowmen. Especially in aggressive sieges, they're going to be quite good. It's going to be interesting to see throughout this Let's Play how comparable they are compared to the Empire's crossbowmen, because they're still very quite strong. And we want to try and get, especially shielded spears, to get that anti-large bonus, and then like our great swords, claymore units eventually as well. Here are the regiments of renown. A lot of them are locked away, of course. And then here is the unique Imperial supplies recruitment train. Once we unlock stuff, Karl Franz will give us the ability to recruit units from here. Okay, let's move now to the building chains that are currently available. So here's our coastal village, our Imperial wharf, and we have already a training field. So let's go through the building browser here and see what we're working with. So upgrading our building immediately will give us access to shielded spears, halberds, great swords, and huntsmen formally as we push up. So we want to go for them. Looking at the building chain, the Empire Knights and essentially like our Reichsguard units are the best for us. Mortars are exceptional for the Empire. War wagons. Steam tanks are kind of debatable. I quite like the functionality of them, but they're really expensive. Like, nearly the Hellblaster volleys are a bit better, or the Hellstorm rockets. Basically, any artillery pieces are quite good in this. I want to see, it'll be interesting to see how the war wagons do as well. Looking over at our wizards, the Bright Wizard is probably our best bet. We want to try and go for that as well. I think we'll stick away from the Luminarch of Hysh, and we'll reassess the Witch Hunters as well. But here is our build. We want to try and get a tap room as well to get that +4 public order eventually. But here is the building chain for the Empire. So we'll spend our money and immediately construct the rally field to gain access to those crossbowmen and, importantly, those spear shields. So move enemy lord. There's no more notifications there. They're hiding away. Alright, let's push against the lizardmen and play the first sort of tutorial battle as we have here. So the lizardmen are bringing 1 unit of Saurus warriors, 2 units of skink cohorts, 1 unit of skink cohort javelins, and a feral bastillodon. Okay, here's our army build, of course. 1 spears, 2 swords, 2 units of archers, 1 huntsman, and the war wagon as well. So these are our missile chariots. They've got mounted cannons on the side. Alrighty, let's fight this one on the battlefield and have our first battle for the campaign. Okay guys, welcome to the battle map. Let's get stuck into it. So let's scout the terrain. Okay, we've got a slight advantage here on our high ground if we sort of centralize a bit more, but I don't know if it's going to be that useful. Alright, so we've got a couple of options here. We can make a noob box if we wanted to. So the thing is, right, looking at their numbers, I think, yeah, we're numerically outnumbered, 500 and only by about 40. So looking at the enemy opposition, it's actually a little bit deceivingly difficult, especially for the novice. So we've got to be a little bit careful. Right, so I think we should just make a nice, strong, long front line to combat their numerical supremacy. We don't want to make it too thin, or otherwise our guys are gonna rout. So let's make a nice strong front line like this, and we'll get them to enable guard mode. Archers wise as well, we want to sit you here. We want you guys to be close enough to probably start off with, and then we want you to move slightly back. Okay, and we've got our war wagons here as well. They're quite mobile in this game, but I don't want to use them for that just yet. So try and centralize them a little bit more, and we'll put like, oh whoops, let's put you further back here. I meant to grab Wulfhart. Yeah, and we want Wulfhart to be probably in a slightly similar position. Alright, let's meet and have a look at the units. First up, nothing too special, standard Imperial spears. We have our new Huntsman unit further at the back. They look like Sherwood archers from Medieval 2. I love it. Then we've got our wagon unit as well, handgunners, quite mobile. We could push them up, potentially try and skirmish slower factions, but the Lizardmen would probably run and chase us down quite easily. They've got some really good speed buffs. Standard archers and swordsmen. And then we have the man, the myth, the legendary hunter himself, Markus Wulfhart, eyeing up the enemy opposition, making sure he's got the right equipment there, of course. Let's meet our adversaries, our enemy, and have a look at what they're coming with. So first up, just basic skinks, along with their Saurus General, quite a strong one. And what's not to be underestimated is this Feral Bastillodon, especially when we're using tier 1 trash units. That thing is going to absolutely rip right through us if we're not careful. So we're going to have to straight away focus all our archer, skirmisher, and firepower at it. And then we've got these Saurus warriors further back. They've got the numbers on us, they've got the flank on us. It's going to be interesting to see if they push up and take the initiative to hit us, let's say. Oh well, regardless, let's start the fight and see how our enemy and what they do. Okay, they seem to be already pushing up. So what we want to try and do is maybe push Markus up slightly. I'm going to have to drop my archers back as well from the front line once they get a volley off, I'd imagine. So who's sort of first in range here? Huntsman, Wulfhart, archers, and then the war wagon itself. They seem to be charging up here. So we need to focus absolutely everything on this Feral Bastillodon as quickly as possible. Once it gets in range, start raining fire and death upon it. Rightio guys, let's hit it, and let's also use our focus shot as well. That's going to be nearly in range. Once it is, we'll move it. So continue to fire at this. I will slightly move... Oh, these chariots have come up a little bit too much there for my liking. You need to be further back here. So everyone needs to be focusing on this, because even though we've got spears here, that's going to rip through us. Come on, focus everything we got here. Okay, pull slightly further back here. Oh, it's a shame they moved up. So that thing's coming through us. That's going to rip through those spears. As it's anti-large, you're going to be able to focus that. You move further this way. Allow Wulfhart to continue to hit this and this. Don't be too worried about everything else. Just make sure everyone's focusing on this Bastillodon, by the way. That's the thing, because it gets so close through here, we might even need to pull further back if it comes further up. Come on, keep on hitting it, guys. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Reallocate that fire. Even though we're going to hit our own men, we just need to eliminate it. We're focusing on it now, which is fantastic, and it's broken. That's the main thing that we have to deal with, because our front line, as you can see here, has already just shattered. Okay, so what we're going to have to do now is try and kite the enemy and hope to just try and hope that our front line holds. Yeah, because like I said, it's a little bit, you don't really realise it, but it's a little bit deceiving how strong that Bastillodon is. Okay, well, we just need to try and plug the holes where we can. Try and move this around. So if this unit's isolated here, continue to try and hit it, their general. So try and continue to focus this. Yeah, there's not really too much we can do for these guys, except for just trying to hope and hold. You form further back, please. Okay, we're going to be able to hit this general now, so focus on this where you can. Get your ethereal shot off. Focus shot. That's now breaking. Yeah, because you really have to target out their bigger units. The Bastillodon looks like it could come further back, so quickly reallocate that shot for this. While everyone focuses on this, we'll let our trash tier units try and soak up and hold while we can. Make sure this goddamn thing doesn't come back, please. That's the last thing I want. Bring it down, bring it down. Just absolutely fire everything you've got. Okay, good. That's not coming back. That's done and dusted. She's all over, Red Rover. Right, focus on this stuff here. These guys are fine hanging out here. Alright. But yeah, like I said, pretty early on, if we clustered up a little bit too much, that could have been a very, very different fight. Because these guys, especially early on, Tier 1 units, they're just going to get wrecked by the aggressive Saurus, especially on this difficulty as well. So we need to watch out for this. Retarget the enemy general eventually when you can. And we're going to have to wait 60 seconds to get that focus shot again. So, like I said before, the only way to sort of compare to you guys how Wulfhart is, he's kind of like a Lithanar, giving some really nice bonuses for your archers. He sits back and sort of just does his own thing there. That's a good shot. Alright, these guys are just holding here as well. We might lose that spearman. It's one of the harder sort of tutorial battles. It's just because the lizardmen have everything going for them. I don't know if you would actually be better off just to get one more. Like if you had one more unit, it'd probably turn the tide. That's why I looked at it, like the stats. It was just a little bit surprisingly different. Right, continue to try and eliminate him. They're now breaking, which is good, and we've got him. Okay, well, we want to try and continue to run down as many of them as possible. We don't have any cavalry, which is unfortunate. And as we have automatic replenishment, we should be alright. As long as we don't lose the entirety of any unit. Alright, push for this. Go for that. Yeah, none of our units are going to be able to chase them. Alright. But the wagons are. That's quite good of a mopping up sort of unit. They're going to be able to chase them quite a bit. They're Saurus warriors as well. Come on, bring them down. We've got some good target practice here. Let's get rid of these scaly boys. I'm curious to have a look at the casualties sustained and casualties inflicted. But I love archers, especially in Total War Warhammer. And if the Empire can get a decent lot of them, that's awesome. Alright, we'll make sure we get those chevrons up nice and high. Make sure we run down as many of them as possible. Push up. Well, wagons, how quick are they? Like, are they going to be able to catch these Saurus warriors? Probably not. But that feral Bastiladon, man, just absolutely ripped through that spear unit. My front line buckled. We had to heavily rely on kiting towards the end. Close victory. Let's end the battle there. So we deployed 565, losing 176. The Lizardmen deployed 582 and lost 356. Looking at the casualties sustained and casualties inflicted, Wulfhart did 49, including killing the Saurus and Bastiladon. Spearman 46, 109 there, 30, 52 with our archers, 31, it was 52 with the huntsman, 31 with the normal archers, and 41 with the wagon as well. We've also managed to receive an enchanted item, Potion of Toughness, and we've eliminated 3 out of the 3 units. So we've got a couple of options here. We can pardon, casualty replenishment, and treasury leadership. Let's go with execute the captives. We didn't get all of them, unfortunately. They've managed to run away, so we're going to have to chase them down towards their settlement. But not too bad to start off this episode with a win. Okay, let's continue to run down this unit, pushing further into enemy territory. We'll auto-resolve this one out, as I don't feel like playing it, and I'm curious to see the auto-resolve in this, because what I noticed, especially for the chariots, is a little bit harsh. So we've auto-resolved out here. We've been quite fortunate, only losing 23, and we can farm another leadership and a lot of experience for Wulfhart. We can move back to our territory here now and start the recruitment before we push against the settlement itself. Okay, so after that, what do we need more of? Probably a unit of spears, to be honest, against the anti-large. Seems we've already got we've already got 2 lots of swords, and then getting more archers where we can. Alrighty, we've got some unassigned skills for Wulfhart. Okay, we've got a campaign buff, leadership buff, melee defense or a focus shot minus. Yeah, 25% minus for focus shot. Dude, we need that massively. We need that massively in. I think what we'll go with as well, as we've unlocked this chain, I think we should go for Sure and True, which is an ability an augment, which gives us +5 reload, missile damage, and armor piercing. We've got 2 skills to spend, so let's do it on them. Okay, going back to the settlement itself, we could look to potentially hiring a new general. Rolf, a huntsman general. We've got an arch lector, or a general of the empire as well, we could go with. Bloody hell, guys. Sorry, there's a train going past my house. My apologies, I'll give it a sec. Look, you know what? I think we'll save the money per turn, as we're already at max recruitment. It's going to be quite some time before we get a big enough army to attack this city just yet. Yeah, we want to wait a little bit longer. Alrighty, agents-wise, it's not a bad idea maybe getting one eventually and going all the way out to try and pick off these treasures and try and get them early on, and potentially trying to get negotiations with the High Elves. Because in the general vicinity, I think we've hit all the allied human factions. Okay, let's end the turn and continue. So what we're going to be doing now is slowly but surely putting our money into construction and recruitment, building up a reasonable force to throw back the lizardmen. Okay, looks like Diafin and Mazza are doing some stuff further to the north. Hopefully they fight and pick apart each other. So we'll try and focus on the lizardmen we're at war with firstly, then we can go against vampires and orcs eventually. If you can go by race and faction, it can make the campaign a lot easier. And Wulfhart can move now. I think what we'll do is we'll give it one more turn of recruitment so we can have a decent auto-resolve for the city. Seeing as there's no army inside, there's probably no real reason to play it. So let's end the turn and continue. See if the AI does anything else. Anything surprising. And it looks like the Drowned have sacked that city to the north. Norscan tribes, I think, inhabit most of this. So we've got to watch out for that drifting chaos corruption as well. Okay, guys, welcome to the top of the turn. Mission issued. Recruit a hunter. We can probably look to go down this sort of stuff eventually at some point as well. Alright, let's move Wulfhart now to the city. And we'll try and take the entire region of the Scorpion Coast. How about that? Okay, so only 2 units of Saurus warriors inside, 3 skink cohorts, and 1 unit of Cold One spears against our army. Okay, well, let's try and auto-resolve this one out. About a 50-50, I would say. Alright, Saurus warriors, skinks, Cold Ones against our army build, of course. Alrighty, let's auto-resolve there. Whoa! That's a savage auto-resolve there. I know we're not at full strength, but crikey. 3 units of swordsmen have perished. The spears and shields have survived. Dude, that's savage as. Oh well, we definitely would have done a lot better playing that, but no matter. You live and learn. 506 to their 728. And we've taken their territory. Right, so we've got a couple of options here. We can raise, sack, loot and occupy, or straight up occupy. I'm going to loot and occupy. Fortunately enough for me, I'm going to be able to get those swordsmen back within 1 turn. Oh, and that building has been constructed as well, so we've gained access to that. Let's repair there where we can. And get this recruitment back, essentially. Yep, so let's get that up and going. We've also unlocked the entire region, so we can get some commands. Looking at what I want to go with, probably host a feast is probably our best idea. Yeah, going with public order, I think is a smart idea. And once that's constructed, we'll eventually bring in another unit, I reckon. Okay, well, let's end the turn and continue. So what we're going to do now is make sure we recruit smartly and construct 2 big enough armies. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. Alrighty, so what we really need to do now is construct smartly and recruit 2 armies formidable enough to push further south. So I think we should continue on that first battle and try and go after Taxland here. So let's push further south this way, and it's probably time now to get another lot of recruitment. So we've got crossbowmen here and archers. Surprisingly, crossbows have more range, really, and more ammunition. But they cost 150 more. And the upkeep is 80. So you're nearly better off going with the archers. Range is also heavily important, and ammunition. But like the cost evaluation, it's just arguable, really. So let's go with 1 unit of archers and some spears as well. Alright, we're going to have to keep the general populace happy as well. So let's bring in another general. Rolf, our huntsman. I think we want to try and use the new variant rather than the old. And you can't get access to this just yet anyway, so there's no point in doing that. Unassigned skills we've gained access to. Okay, we have 3 points we can divvy this up to. Leadership Aurora. Bonus versing large. That's not too bad. Maybe getting campaign movement as well. We want to make this slightly different. So let's get a buff on the cooldown and with this. And maybe with the bonus with large. I think we'll try and do with you. Okay, it's been a couple of turns now, so we can probably dive back into diplomacy. So the New World colonies, military access. We want to try and just continue with good relations, along with human factions and whatnot. Vampire factions don't want non-aggression. How about Dark Elf factions? No. I wonder if these Lizardman factions would want a peace. No. So, for now, we can't continue on that front. We'll continue to just construct where we can, and we'll win the turn and continue. We're just burning through the turns pretty early on now. We've encountered a new faction, Defenders of the Great Plan. Defenders of the Slan. And we've had a population surplus as well. Good. Things are all coming up. Wulfhart coming up Millhouse. Okay, so the free booters of the Port Royal are moving away. Okay, guys, this is one of the new events. Imperial supplies ready. The expedition may have only just begun, but the Emperor demands progress. To aid you, the Imperial Quartermaster sends word of reinforcements ready to dispatch to the expedition. The 4 main divisions of the Empire's military each has a package ready. Choose those shipment you would like to receive. Imperial regiments give us 2 halberds, 2 huntsmen, 2 greatswords. The Imperial Gunners School gives us a great cannon and outriders. The Imperial Engineers gives us 1 war wagon and 1 war wagon mortar. The Knightly Order gives us 3 Emperor Knights and 2 Pistoliers. So looking at this, what I would like, halberds, huntsmen, greatswords, very good. Cannon, outriders, I like the cannon, the outriders, meh. Knightly Order, 3 Empire Knights and Pistoliers, and the War Machine reinforcements. So if you want more of your frontline infantry, halberds and greatswords, you can go with that. Looking at the knights, I quite like the 3 Imperial Knights. If there was 4, I probably would have gone for it, to be honest. But I think our best bet is to go with the War Machines. We want to rule this world with gunpowder and steel. So, going with an additional war wagon, but importantly, it's the war wagon mortar that we want. I think that's probably our best bet, because if we sort of spam out those swordsmen, even though great swords and halberds are good, especially with the late game, holding off the hordes of monsters. I think for now, our scrap tier units will be fine. So let's go with Imperial Engineers, and we're going to be able to gain access to the new pool. So let's click on Wulfhart here. Let's go with the Imperial Supplies, and as you can see, we can recruit these guys for nothing. We do have to pay for their upkeep, of course. So now we have these units at our disposal. Let's continue on our initiative to push further south. And it does look like our adversary seems to be recruiting as well. Still can't get any regiments further of renowned. And what can we recruit furthermore? Let's go with 1 more unit of archers. Spears with shields. I would have liked to go with swordsmen there. What we can do, actually, is to shift merge this. Then disband that. I doubt they're going to push us, because I would perfectly like swordsmen. Eventually, those spears can be fine for now. So we'll get that done. Okay, we've unlocked the construction of a tier 2 building in the Scorpion Coast. Good. Alright, let's continue on our recruitment. End the turn and continue. See if the lizardmen come out against us. I'm hoping we'll push to the border, try and antagonize them into an attack, because we've got a full stack now ready to rumble. The vampires to the north are doing quite well, raiding the coast. Or maybe it's because they're one of the only factions we can see dominating the seas. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. Mission issued, mission successed, and that tech's now done as well. So we're going to get our public order worries back on track. Okay, well, I think continuing to push further south is our best bet. We don't have any more construction available with Wulfhart, so we'll get it further south there. Okay, so what are we coming up against down here? There seems to be a unit outside. We might be able to use that to our advantage. 13 units there, plus their garrison. We could... Are we in range? No. We nearly are, though. I was going to say, if we could push south and try and drag that out, that might be a good idea. But let's push into the general proximity, allow them to aggressively try and hit us and draw them out. Okay, so what do we want to go through here now then? Okay, there's a fair few options here. War Machine's good. Reload reduction +8. Ammunition is good. I don't think we're running out of ammunition just yet. Also, income from settlements also good. I think what we'll do is go with State Troop Standard. We really want to try and get that leadership up. I think that's probably our best bet. The speed, not too fussed about, but the leadership is definitely needed, especially as we towards to get to the end of our campaign, and once that threat level gets nice and high, the enemy get a really good buff for that, along with weapon strength, which I mentioned before. But I'm curious to see what the enemy does here. And they've pushed out against me. Now, notably, we can actually see what's there for one. So, Great Axe Infantry, that's a skink, so is that. Saurus Spears, a lot of skinks. And the Settlement Garrison. The Settlement Garrison is the main thing. So if we withdraw, we can eliminate their garrison. They're fighting us. We are outnumbered slightly. Are we better off to play this now? Okay, well, on second thought, I think it might be more beneficial for us to fight them on our terms. They numerically outnumber me just a little bit too much for my liking. So what we'll do is we'll try and retreat, and hopefully they push and overextend their position. We can fight them and isolate. I just don't think I should fight the garrison if we don't need to, especially with those Saurus warriors. But it looks like they could be giving chase, and they have. This is slightly more favourable without that garrison. So let's chuck a quick save. It looks like the odds are about the same, to be perfectly honest. So, we'll fight this one instead. Just those 5 other units. They've only got that 1 unit of blessed Saurus warriors there. So they've only got 2, yeah. So fighting skinks makes it slightly more easier for me. Alrighty then, well, we'll play this one, and I'll see you guys on the battle map. Okay guys, welcome to the battle map. Let's get stuck into it. So looking at the resolve on the battlefield, it looks a lot more in my favour than in the campaign. On the campaign map. Okay, so we have 1.6 to their 1.4. However, I think it's a little bit deceiving because they've got more reinforcements coming in. They definitely outnumber me. Okay, looking at the terrain, there's a lot we can work with here. A really nice impassable cliff face there. We could nearly funnel them in. But they are... they are attacking us at the end of the day, aren't they? And then there's this cliff side here. Wow, this is actually a really cool and unique map, because we're going to be able to funnel them there slightly, but they could sort of shoot down and over us there with their skink warriors, but we could do the same with them on that far side. Pushing further back would allow it to be a lot more open, and we could completely sort of avoid this narrow crossing here. Even that's a pretty good position if they were sitting there firing on us. Okay, So we can avoid essentially getting flanked there. Or should we just push further back and allow them to come to us and not even worry about this? Yeah, I think, like, if we push up there and shoot down, we might get a good flank, but it's just a little bit too risky. I think we're better off just pushing back and making a noob box, to be perfectly honest. So let's see what we're working with here. So we've got a couple of units here. What we want to do is get everyone here, spearmen and swords, and I want to make a nice, strong, long front line. And there's plenty of room further at the back to move from. Okay, cool. So let's go with a toggle guard mode there. And we'll try and break this up slightly. So, we'll try and angle you here, say. Something like this. Guard mode, and with you instead, because this unit's slightly weak. Yeah, we want to go like something like that. And angle that like this. Guard mode again. Allow my archers to be on fire at will and make a small distance here. And we'll allow everyone else to sit back here. We'll move Wulfhart a little bit further up. We couldn't even allow these guys to be slightly here as well. Alrighty, well, it's going to take quite some time for the enemy to come up against us and move away. So let's meet our units. Let's start the battle. Now, some of the guys we're going to be seeing for the first time. Spearmen and swordsmen you would have seen in the last battle. Our men of Sheerwood Forest. Our huntsmen here. Further archers. And we have our artillery. Well, it's essentially missile units, I guess, if you want to be specific. But they're going to act like artillery in all but name. Here are our mortars. Now, this is the first time we've seen them in the campaign. They're going to be our bread and butter of the series eventually. Heavily mobile. And good. We'll be able to get some good strikes off against them. Alrighty, the Saurus and the Lizardmen are slowly but surely gaining ground. We're going to wait for them to come up against us. Skinks, for the most part. Saurus warriors here through the center. Alright, let's sit back and speed things up a bit. Yeah, we could have a really nice corridor here, get some nice flanks, but they have speed, momentum on us. I want to have a nice, clear vision of my archers, but there's a couple of ways we could have played this, but I think this is a safe bet. Just sitting back and allowing them to encroach. They're going to get a really nice charge down on my right side, so we've got to watch out for that. But it looks like they're going straight up and through the guts. We'll allow everyone to fire at will. We're going to have to sort of focus out some units. So let's try and get Wulfhart to hit this where he can. And we'll use a potion of toughness as well. My artillery can fire at essentially Saurus warriors would be ideal, but hitting this isn't too bad, to be perfectly honest. Okay, and we'll try let Wulfhart. He's not in range, that's why it didn't go off. Okay, so we're still firing into the thick of this, allowing our mortars to do most of the damage. Haven't got a clean shot against them just yet. There we go. Yes, that's what we want. Alright, wait for them to come further into position. Try and hit the... where are their Saurus warriors? There. Let's get those blessed Sauruses there, please, where you can. Wulfhart is in range of their general, so try and hit this. Oh, he's pushed a little bit too far up here, Wulfhart. Me not paying attention. There's going to be a really good charge here against those skinks. Okay, we'll try get these guys to focus on, say, them. And you can fire into this cluster here now. Wulfhart, try and reallocate on this, please. And their front line is going to be engaging ours. I'm going to allow most of my units to fire at will, because trying to micromanage individual units from the start is probably not the best idea. So they're coming straight up from us for the front, and they're now routing as well. Okay. Allow archers now to pick units further at the back. As they're coming up, try and hit them. Alrighty. So, we probably, once their units commit, we're going to be able to do some flanking maneuvers. So try and hit this further back. Where are they clustering? Center here as well, so try and hit something like this, those mortars. Alrighty, well, let's try and get up around them and try and wrap around. And these guys as well can flank. So, flank around here, please. Once you guys get further around, we'll be able to push for that as well. Alright. Come on, flank, please. Get off guard mode. And then wrap around like this, please. Charge for the Empire! Mortars raining fire and death upon the enemy. Not the most grandest of charges, but it'll do. And you need to start peeling down this way as well. You can focus on this, and you can hit these skinks further here. Alrighty, allow my archers to try and hit these guys further at the back. My front line is holding slightly for now. We'll allow my artillery to try and focus out some units. You can focus on this 30 seconds or so before they come. And we've got a good charge here. Drop off your guard mode and push. Alrighty. They're now giving chase. You've gone a little bit too far up for my liking. Okay. There still seems to be some units here. So what I want to do is essentially get all my archers to focus on one. Get a concentrated fire and shot to try and eliminate it. Right, now you go for the back one. They're now routed as well, so you can push higher up here. Right, where's Wulfhart? He's still hanging out here. There still seems to be some general units holding on. But we're heavily targeting these skinks here, turning them into pin cushions. Perfect, okay. Pause, because I want to be quick, because I don't want them to like run up, because the AI has a tendency to do that. So we'll quickly just halt, and then we'll go toggle fire at will so you can do your thing. Alrighty, those mortars, have they run out of ammunition? No, not yet. Okay, I want to break everyone out of guard mode now and allow most of them to give chase. Continue to fire into something like this. They've caught me there, which is a shame. So try and hit these units that keep on coming back that we haven't entirely routed. You can go for something. Yeah, continue to target stuff where you can. Push down here and help out. Send archers here to deal with that. And this, just continue to focus on that, those mortars. Good, 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 good. I think we've got them here now. Well, to be honest, we've had them for quite some time. Yeah, just got to be careful with that archer going into that unit. And they're a little bit exposed there. Their units are now running. Wulfhart still needs to be focusing on general units where we can. What's sitting back here? One of their skinks. We can get archers in this general vicinity to maybe move and try and hit something like this. Okay. We probably need a hand down here with some of their generals. That seems to have gone now. And this seems to be routing as well. And we've got them. That's it. She's all over, Red Rover. The full-time whistle has been blown. The ref has called time for play. Alright, let's try and run them down as best we can. Okay, we'll try and move our spearmen out of here. Yeah, so if you want to hit these guys that are super in close proximity, try and hit them then. I'll wait for our guys to get it out of the way. Nice! I can't wait to get some sexy leather boots for Wulfhart. Let's run down this bloody skink. Surely. He's already a pin cushion. How is he not dead? Alright, let's try and speed things up. So hold there. So that additional leadership has come through. Oh, my wagons are quite... They're mobile, aren't they? I'm not used to having mortars mobile, so I guess they can sort of act as a cavalry unit and run down the enemy. So getting those mortars seem to be the best bet. Try and continue to run down as many of them as possible. So that tactic of allowing them to push through the corridor actually funneled them slightly. My archers and cannons were quite useful, but already they seem to have they actually seem to get there quite quickly. Maybe it might have been a good strategy, keeping like one or two further back, and a close victory if won it here today. Like we could have hidden a couple in the forest. Cavalry would have been more useful, but yeah, because they kept on coming back and forth. angling and shooting behind them might not have worked well in the end. But victory, we have victory here today. Markus Wulfhart deployed 1,718, losing 600 of his men on the field. We've got automatic replenishment. As long as you don't lose the entirety of a unit, we'll be fine. And our enemy deployed 1.8, so they slightly outnumbered us there. Okay, 800 gold has been taken. Wulfhart's gone up to rank 4. Unfortunately, we've only killed 3 units, which is a bit of a shame. But no matter. We can... -5. Yes, so we don't get a replenishment. Right, let's execute the captives straight up then. And they're going to run further back towards their territory. We might be able to siege them out still, however. They're pushing further back on a forced march. It's probably not a bad idea to try and run them down if we want. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn, guys. We've had another populous surplus, and we have some new unassigned skills to deal with. Okay, so this is with Wulfhart now. Brass Lung getting Aurora Sai. Yeah, getting leadership Aurora around our men. I don't think I want that though. Okay, we've got a couple of options here. Locked and loaded gives us ammunition and speed. Towards the end there, it was really the only the mortars that didn't have that speed. Missile damage +4 is quite good, but seasoned marksman as well. As we're still fighting skinks early on, I think going with a reload reduction is probably a better idea. Okay, so we've got a couple of options here. We can go straight for the city itself. I want to make sure this army doesn't come back, so we're going to push and try and run it down. They're currently recruiting and replenishing as well slightly, so I'm going to move my secondary army up here with Rolf. We are hemorrhaging a little bit of gold, and we are in a negative economy. -12 isn't too much. So we'll continue with our deficit, and we'll continue to recruit where we can. If we can get this sort of additional units, that'll be fine. That can help us out once we take the city. We'll inflate our economy, but once we start taking some more territories, we can get it back on track. Okay, well, let's end the turn and continue, and see what the AI does, what the next turn holds. Haxolotl are at war with Clan Nor. Or Nor? Yeah, I guess it is. It's a silent G. So I guess it's Skaven they're at war with. What are the enemy doing? Embedding the skink in. They've come out of their ambush stance, and they seem to be moving away. They must have moved some of the forces in. A Lizardman faction is at war with the Vampire Coast. That's good for me on my eastern side. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn. The migration. A great migration comes to our borders, demanding shelter from threats. Yeah, from larger threats abroad. Do we let them cross into our territory or turn them away? Do nothing, begone, or get a +5 growth for provinces and a -3 public order. Recruitment cost, we get minused as well. I think we should welcome them. Getting that quick little health growth buff isn't too bad, as we're going to have a large military presence in our territories anyway to deal with the rebellion. So we will welcome the immigrants. Okay, let's have a look further south now. So I wanted to try and eliminate that army, but it seems to be just sort of drawing me out and away. Okay, well, what I will do is I'll push for a siege here now. And we can attack aggressively in one turn. Let's continue the siege here. We'll wait for reinforcements and potentially even swap them in, if that's something we should do. So let's move you up here. Okay, so with the weaker units, 26, 17. I'll go with the 36 and that, even though that's got a little higher chevron. Oh no, we'll go with this then. So let's bring those 4 units into play for the siege. And now they can sit here as well. So how does that bring our auto resolve? Still only 50% there. Garrison, there's quite a large one inside. We might be better off just to be a bit patient and build some siege equipment. Let's go, because there's nothing to break it down the door. So let's go with a battering ram and a siege tower. Right, let's continue the siege here for now. Let's give it another end turn. They could even very well attack us now that their city is under siege. Maybe getting another unit to keep on the recruitment spam might be a good idea. But we'll be fine for now. So what are they going to do? Ah, they've actually attacked me here now. We better have to play this one now that it's been baited in. Now that that's stopped like running away, it might be in our best interest again to retreat. They could isolate us though, but drawing that in might be better because we can get it in a strike range. The only problem is if it goes after this. Yeah, that's the problem. Well, at least that's come out. We're going to have to play this one, but at least that's come out now. We can fight this on the field and isolate it and do some damage. Alrighty then. Well, we'll chuck a quick save here and we'll deal with this in the next episode. Unfortunately, it's time to end it here. Thanks for watching. Got to say a huge thank you to the Creative Assembly for sending me an early access code of the Hunter and the Beast DLC. It's going to be available to the general public on the 11th of September. And I'll put in the description below as well a copy of the Steam page so you can check out further information. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series. And if you would like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Highly recommend Twitter. Every single time I post a video, a tweet goes out. It's much more reliable than the YouTube sub box. These days, to get all the notifications for the channel, you have to click the bell, of course, to join the notifications squad. I do enjoy reading those comments. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.